It's songs that transport you. So I was kind of thinking if anyone, if you do some thinking and like, do you have like 2 or 3 songs that whenever you hear them, they take you back to a specific moment, or you have a flash of memory hit you of a specific time or feeling. And I'm just curious what those songs are and what the memory attached to that song is. And I left mine on my computer, so I want to read it. But someone else, maybe I don't know, Grimpen, do you have some? If you start,
Sure.
I'll get mine.
I can go first. The first thing that came to mind for me, it's not a single song, it's more of an album, because I guess I'm an album guy, but this is going to prove that I'm not an album guy. When the Tea Party's Greatest Hits came out and I was in like 8th grade, I was playing through Symphony of the Night at the time, and now anytime I hear those songs, my brain gets flooded with Symphony of the Night moments and the smell of tomato soup. And it's such an incredible rush of nostalgia that I just love it, even though I really don't care for their music anymore.
I wish that was my memory. That sounds great, actually.
Although that soup smell may be warning of the heart attack that's coming.
Oh, yeah. There were summers where I had an entire can of soup every day with an entire sleeve of crackers. So it's coming. I feel like I can tough it out is the thing. I'm stronger than a heart attack. Probably because of the music of the Tea Party.
Famous last words. I'm stronger.
Yeah. Similarly, well, not similarly, there's the album The Final Cut by Pink Floyd. It's a pretty evocative album already, a kind of an insane bummer about war. But it brings me back to a time listening to it on vinyl with my dad over a summer, because I was working as a garbage man in southern Alberta, and it's just a good time to think about. Even though it's a really sad set of songs. That's all I got.
Oh, you got the tea? Okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next? Any volunteers?
I can jump in.
Sure.
So I thought of a few. So the first song I thought of was "Sit Down, Stand Up" by Radiohead, and every time I hear that song, I think about seeing it live at Thunderbird Stadium in BC. And when they played that song, I don't know if everyone's familiar with that song. We are the Radiohead heads in the chat here. It ends with the lyric "raindrops." It repeats "raindrops" basically, I don't know, conservatively 240 times. And we watched it at that outdoor show in the rain. So now every time I hear that song, I think about standing on that grassy field, watching them up on stage, getting drenched by rain, and just how, like, what a universal kind of wink it was to have literal raindrops falling on me.
That's great.
The next song I have is a song by Aesop Rock, who is my favorite rapper of all time. You can put me on record. There was a remix for his song "No Jumper Cables" that was on this record, Def Jux 3. So it was just a collection of rap songs from the label. And I remember listening to it, and it was like days before going to visit Vancouver for the first time. And so if the song has got this kind of like old school kind of breakbeat, almost like 80s New York rap feel to it. And I was walking around Vancouver for the very first time and just scanning the streets and in particular, like spending times running through East Hastings. I had a real soundtrack in my head the entire time. So now every time I hear that song, I'm transported back to those years in my 20s where I'd be going to Vancouver, checking out concerts, like really experiencing life literally on my own for the very first time, because it was such a, moving through without a safety net experience, because I was away from family. I was there with just a friend. Everything felt so real and new and exciting.
That's cool.
And then lastly, the song "Centerfield" by John Fogerty. I don't know if everyone know John Fogerty from CCR?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
This song, I would recommend looking it up, listen to it once and maybe stopping there. Uh, there's a song about baseball, and in the middle of the song, there's this iconic for CCR heads sound of like a bat connecting with a ball. So there's this crack of a wooden bat sound. My dad was such a fan of it that he took a like a 90-minute cassette tape and dubbed it both sides with the exact same song. And we listened to it on a road trip to Revelstoke, which I don't know how many hours that is from Edmonton, probably at least like 8. And it was nonstop. It just went auto reverse the entire time. And every time the crack of the bat hit, my dad would be like, yes. But it was, dude, the rest of us, akin to like what you heard about like Guantanamo Bay playing Metallica at all hours of the day for the prisoners. We were so ready for every bathroom break or any moment where we could just turn the car off.
Yeah, our dad would love playing the same. Like when he found a song he loved, he would play it on repeat. All the time. That's a common dad move, I feel like.
Incredible.
Jerbear.
This was an interesting topic for me because I'm not like I don't listen to music. I've had like a weird relationship with music like my whole life, and I feel like it's even though it's ubiquitous for most people, I feel like it is a hobby. Like I think it's just a hobby that most people have, and I don't necessarily seek it out most of the time. But throughout like my life, I've had a few moments or a few songs pop in, and I think that you'll understand. Like I feel like I never formed musical tastes, or at least I haven't until like very late in life. So a lot of the songs that I ended up liking when I was younger are debatably like awful songs, which you'll soon hear. Anyway, so the one that I immediately thought of was "Butterfly" by Crazy Town.
Oh my gosh!
I was really into rap rock. Like rap rock was like the thing, but Butterfly came out right after. I think it was maybe not right after, but soon after I graduated high school. So similar to Andy, I was experiencing freedom for the first time. I had a job and I didn't have a car yet, but I was just sort of like on my own schedule. Life was on my own terms, and for some reason, Butterfly was like just the anthem for that part of my life. And it got played so much like during those years of my life that it became like most people who know me know like I have a connection to this Butterfly song. And I remember it played back like we would go to clubs because Edmonton, like I don't even think they really had bars at that time. It was just more like the club culture was like really big in Edmonton. So we would go to these clubs and hated every minute that we were there. But I remember I was guaranteed to hear Butterfly at least once every night. We went to the club. And it was cool because you have people dancing and there's lights and everything. But I remember this one night where I was sitting at the bar, or not the bar, at a table, and it came on, and I think I had just like got dumped or something bad happened that day because I was kind of down and I was just sitting there like having my drink. And it came on, and the thrill I got when it came on, and I just like elevated me out of my chair, and I jumped, and I didn't realize I was sitting right underneath the speaker, like one of the speakers, and I clocked myself like real hard, and I actually knocked myself out for just not long, but just like I blacked out, hit the ground, I blacked out. My friends all came around me. Are you okay? But I was only out for like probably a couple seconds or something. But I got up. And then I had a great night. Like the night just continued, and so Butterfly weirdly has been this like this weird little marker throughout my life, and it still gets played now on the radio somehow. Like every now and then, Sonic will play it or something, and it's just so weird that this song is still being played because
I'll never forget that the lead singer's name was Shifty Shellshock. I thought it was the greatest name ever.
Shifty Capone makes a moan. That's the line. But it was like, but it was like he actually was in the news recently. I forget why. He does not look good.
For being the coolest guy of all time.
Yeah. What a hot dog eating contest.
Wow. I forget. But anyway, so that was like um, uh, like that song actually does mean something to me, even though it's kind of universally loathed. I think most people don't like it. It's like a not a great song, but whatever. And then there was songs that came up through through like there's songs that kind of identify as like my university days or when Amy and I were traveling lots. But I think the one that I'd go back to, because Andy brought it up earlier, something related to it, was when I was growing up, the only music I really had access to was what my parents listened to. I didn't really have a lot of my own musical tastes or things that I wanted to pursue. But the very first album I ever purchased on my own was a Weird Al album, and it was the Jurassic Park one. And I remember thinking
Alapalooza, yeah.
Alapalooza, yeah. And I remember thinking that there were tracks on that album that actually were legitimately good songs, like Frank's 2000-inch TV.
Oh yeah,
is such a good one that I feel like nobody talks about because it's not like maybe one of the more popular ones, but that was like, so that album has like specific fondness for me just because it was the first one that I ever bought with my own money. And then after that, I never listened to music again.
you
drive your car in silence.
That bar was high.
Yeah. I do drive my car in silence a lot of the time. Sometimes I'll turn the radio on. I don't listen to podcasts anymore, really. So it's a weird. So hey, if you got the recommendation, fire them over.
That's not music or a podcast?
No, I'll listen to music or podcasts.
Right. We can just get some Earth sounds on tape for you if you want.
Yeah.
Huh.
Those are the two I thought of.
Amazing.
I do listen to. Well, I was very into music for a certain point in my life, but I have a similar kind of thing as Jeremy with a lot of the music I listen to is instrumental, like video game soundtracks and movie scores. Right. And I found that ever since high school, like I at one point in high school, I was the go-to guy. Like people would come to me to ask me about, what's a good new band kind of thing that no one's ever heard of. But ever since then, I kind of just like, I think Gorillaz was the last band that I loved, and I've just never. That's it. I just stopped after that time period. Oh, nice, yeah. So I haven't really kept up with my musical taste, but I do have a lot of songs that do bring me back to certain moments. But I wanted to ask before I reveal mine: do you guys, when you have that moment hit you, when you have that little flash, do you ever have an associated feeling? Like, can you feel temperatures or like an actual, like, do you get the chills and that kind of thing as well, or like, what happens? Anyone have that experience? Heart attacks, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy might have had CTE when he heard Butterfly that time. There might be some real lingering effects. I don't know. I feel like it's a full body feel for sure. It kind of feels like you're transporting through time almost.
Yeah, because I have like a lot of mine. I'm trying to think of new ones that I didn't already talk about on my other episode, but a lot of mine have something to do with like the temperature. Like I have, like on my old episode, I remember talking about Third Eye Blind and some Sugar Ray songs that all have this similar feel where I can feel the exact summer sun that was like shining down in the car when it like just is sitting on the seatbelt, and you get in the car and you can feel the heat on the seatbelt. Like those specific temperatures really stand out to me. And then there's the Silent Alarm Block Party, their first album. That one really brings me back to a specific cold feeling. Like I was listening to it in Enver's Jeep, and I always can remember like the exact chill that, like, because it was a cold, like wintry night kind of thing. And so I can almost feel even the darkness and like the exact, like, the chill really comes back to me whenever I hear that album, any song on that album. So my actual answers are, so one of them is going to be, this is kind of tied somewhat to Andy actually in a way, but it's a grouping of 3 songs, and I'm sure he might put it together as I say them. But one of is "Do You Realize" by the Flaming Lips, It'll All Work Out, Tom Petty, and I don't know what song, but a George Harrison collage of music. But all three of these songs would play on repeat at HMV, and we both worked there, and they had these like DVD. What were they, like DVD music concerts kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they would just play on repeat, and so that just became like the soundtrack to every day at HMV. But it's a fond one. Whenever I hear those songs now, I am instantly transported back. At least for me, we probably had very different experiences at that job. But for me, I think back to like pranking customers or writing, all the fun memories and stuff like that. And even just specific people, I can't even remember some of their names, but I remember John, like that punky, skinny guy that I don't even know who he is or where he is now. But like I really like just random faces pop into my mind from those days. Anytime I hear those songs, I don't know. Are they fond for you as well, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I think about. I was surprised you didn't say The Last Waltz when you were listing off.
Oh yeah.
We played The Last Waltz a lot.
Yeah.
And when I think about that time when we were there, like you are one of maybe a handful of people that I still see and interact with. But I feel like that time in my life, I must have worked with nearly 1,000 different people across all the HMVs, and I run into zero of them. I don't see them anywhere. It feels like it was like this pocket universe of my life where I went and spent time there and jumped out, and I don't know where they all went. It's just wild. But yeah, and there's certain songs similar to you where I hear them and I feel like I can feel walking across that well-tread carpet towards the escalator.
It's
You mentioned pranking customers. What did you do to me while I was shopping at HMV?
I mean, the first one that came back to me was Enver and I would just because we were often on the same line of tills. So at HMV it was a lineup, so you were like shoulder to shoulder with the other people. We would just and you would each have your own individual line, so you could kind of. You would see what each other is doing to each customer, and we kind of amp each other up. But we would always do the softer ones would be fake accents. So we would do the entire interaction with the craziest accent. But the ones we would amp it up a bit more would be we would just stare forwards and see how long we could go with not interacting with the person and not laughing, just kind of being switched off, or dropping if they handed you change. I'm sorry, Andy, I did all this. we would he was my manager at the time.
Oh no.
We would drop change and on purpose, and a bill would fall on the ground, and we would bend down behind the cupboard and never come back up and see and just see how long we could go without ever resurfacing again, and the customer would be like, what is happening right now?